Do you feel like that in a living library conversation that you are able to respect someone else's awareness better? Let me give you an example of what I mean by that. Um, that kind of comes hand in hand with judgment. Like one of the things that is very much alive for me, Ray, and I think you might appreciate this as well. I think a lot about the interactions between Kylea and Mimi, and what I felt was happening there. Like I wanted to encourage appreciation conversations, deeper listening, and what I felt might have gone on there was an implication of an exchange of services. So there might have been about a judgment about somebody's awareness or somebody's skill level. So yeah, so the question would be in the context of a living library conversation, which is supposed to be about appreciation, reflection, and asking clarifying questions. Do you feel like that's conducive to respecting someone else's awareness, whether you think of it as above or below you? Okay, good. Thank you, Becky. Okay. What do you think, Greg? Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Does the concept of a living library spark your curiosity? Great. Great. Thank you. Um, do you feel comfortable within the context of a living library conversation about holding someone else accountable? Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think I'm there too. I'm there too. Do you understand? Do you feel like you understand the living library concept better now after a couple of months of reflecting on it? Okay.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yes. Do you feel like you understand the concept a little bit better? So that kind of ties into authenticity. Yeah. Okay. Great. All right. Great. Do you feel like within the context of those conversations that your emotional awareness is heightened? Okay. Thank you, Becky.
Do you mean in our conversations or the living library conversations?
In the living library conversations. So you played the role of the book. So and I got to play the role of the reader every time. So it's easier for me to say yes because I was
Yeah.
the listener. Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know that I was, especially if I think maybe if you were asking me about my feelings or if I was asking you, I would be more so like it's more in the context of these conversations that I feel
Mhm.
like I'm more
Mhm.
emotionally aware.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
but I would
And
say like
that's
maybe like it could, depending on what the questions are.
okay. Cool. All right. And that's kind of like the art of it in itself is how to have that kind of a conversation with different people. Um, does it feel like if you were asked to participate in living library conversations more often, do you feel like that they are in alignment with your integrity? Okay. Okay. Can you speak to that, please, Becky? I'd like to hear what's yeah, I'd like to hear what you're feeling around that question.
I guess there's a lot of like ambiguousness for me, like of what that would mean or look like and exactly what that is and how it would affect me. Like, I don't know. I would need more experience with it maybe or something.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Do you prefer being the book or the reader?
Mm, I'm not sure. They're both kind of difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. Understood. Understood. Okay. Do you feel like the conversations help you to practice deeper empathy?
Practice deeper.
Empathy.
Yes.
Great. All right. Do you feel like that there's an element of creativity in conversations? Okay. I hope so, Becky. I hope so. Yes. Um, do you feel like everyone would be included equally in a living in the within the context of a living? Yeah, it's kind of, well, I'm not gonna say that until I hear Ray's response.
I mean, oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was unmuted. Um, if everyone is being interviewed, I guess,
Hmm.
right? Because like you're doing one at a time, so like
Hmm.
if everyone's being included, just means like who's being invited to participate. Which, as
Hmm.
long as that's everybody, then my answer is yes.
Okay, very good. Let me have a follow. Let me ask a follow-up question there, Ray. Do you have any desire to be a reader?
Yeah, that would be awesome. I love that.
Okay,
Mhm.
very good. Okay, so now we're getting the reciprocity going there. Very good. Um, in the conversations, do you feel like there is more of a flow or it's easier to practice unconditional love? Yeah. Okay. All right. And I'm going to say for me it is. All right. Well, that's all of them. And we're only 45 minutes into our 2-hour conversation tonight, which we might not really have to do. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to send this recording out to the others, and hopefully they will send me back their responses, because as you're finding out, when others don't show up, it's a lot more work on me. I do want to kind of say that out loud, that it's a lot of work for me to kind of go chasing after people and do these questions. Um, so thank you. I'm going to start to put these responses into the matrix. So now what I'm going to do is, you know what? Since we have an hour and 15 minutes, maybe we'll just do the rest of the conversation here. We'll see how much we get accomplished here, but maybe we can just complete the matrix, the three of us, uh, so that you guys don't have to do anything until July. So I was going to ask everyone to do maybe the first 5 questions for all 4 of the remaining action steps that we have on the matrix. So just kind of like I'm going to be providing the matrix with these conversations as a visual aid. But what the matrix does, I mean, it's going to look like a lot of numbers at first, but as there's a better understanding that the higher numbers indicate where there's a flow. Like, for instance, the reason why we're exploring the living library was because when I polled all, at the time, 8 of us, there was an interest in the mental health and spirituality aspect, and there was an interest in the living library aspect. And a very close second, by like 1 point or something like that, was about the global economic action step. So that's why we're doing this as part of our recorded conversations. So so yeah, the matrix, what it will do when it's completed, I'm going to send you out all that data. I'm going to say, okay, these are the top action steps where there's the most flow. These are the ones that are on the bottom where there's a little bit more friction. And it's the same thing with the values. For instance, the values that came out as more of a challenge for us as a collective group was safety, being able to, create safe spaces or be able to maintain safe spaces. Another one was about community, how to kind of unpeel or take away, work through those layers of cultural conditioning where there's a negative feeling about community. So that was another one. So yeah, so safety, intuition. Intuition was another one that was a challenge, because to me, I feel like I know I can't really distinguish between an intuition and a judgment. So I think I kind of weighed that one down because because I sometimes feel that I don't always trust my intuition. I feel like maybe I'm being judgmental. So so what the matrix, when it's completed, will indicate was, okay, where is there the most flow? If we are going to continue to communicate and work together after July, this is where there's the most potential, and this is where we might be losing people. And I think there might be there might be an element of that now because there's only three of us, and because I am trying to implement this structure and trying to collect data, I feel like maybe that's kind of help causing some of our members to feel a little marginalized. I don't know yet. We haven't had that conversation, but yeah, so that's why we're doing this process, because after this, and Kylea, Amy, Michelle, Nini, well, Nini's going to be watching this, but I'm talking to you now. If you want to continue to communicate with us, if you want to continue to build this, I'm going to invite everybody to be kind of like for lack of a better word, because this is not an organization, the board, really the board or the leadership team of creating this living library with a time banking infrastructure that generates revenue for the commons, which means all of us. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to go through those questions again, but this time I'm going to lay out all of the 4 remaining action steps. So the first one is pretty easy. Because it's, do you intuitively get a strong yes when considering doing this kind of a inquiry cluster again, or facilitating in this way? So do you intuitively get a strong yes when it comes to learning about or participating in this kind of facilitation? Ray is a yes. Okay, and Becky is a too. Yeah, you've been through this before, Becky, so I understand. Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting a yes, but not a strong yes, because I've been through it many, many, many times, and I'm not sure yet if it's of service. So thank you. Do you get an intuitive strong yes when it comes to working with the time banking software? Okay. Yeah. And again, Becky, you have a little bit of experience with this. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to be a yes with this because I do work with it and I'm very comfortable with it at this point. So that's that. Okay. Do you get a strong intuitive yes when it comes to working with other organizations, or working with other organizations about introducing them to the concept of what we've been doing? Okay, great. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, great. All right. And finally, do you get an intuitive strong yes when it comes to having the conversations around the big questions, the political, the economic, again, really kind of taking apart and reverse engineering, how to how to redirect the financial flow into the commons away from the market and the state. So yeah, okay, so I saw that. Great. Okay, very good. All right, so that's one question. All right, so next question is about compromising safety, or compromised safety. Do you feel like in this type of environment where we're facilitating according to this integrity pattern, do you feel like anyone else's safety has been compromised, or your own safety has been compromised? Okay, can you speak to that, Ray, please? Oh, meaning nobody's, you don't feel like it's been compromised.
Right. I don't think
Okay,
anyone's.
okay, good. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you, thank you. So that's it. Okay, great. Yeah, I forgot to mention that specific question is kind of like the reverse. The no is the higher scoring one, and the yes is the lower scoring one. Do you feel like anyone's safety has been would be compromised if you were to learn and explore the time banking software? Yeah, thank you. Okay, okay. So, okay, yeah, actually, Ray, I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
Um, I think what comes up for me there is just that as we I don't know if the right word is expand, but as more people start jumping on board with time banking,
Mhm.
it may become more of a threat to the
Yeah,
powers that be, because we're talking about replacing the entire economic system
yeah,
in which people are actively exploited to essentially make kings and queens out of, you know, people
billionaires.
who,
Yeah,
yeah, billionaires. The billionaire class is our modern kings and queens. So
yeah,
I think those people would be very threatened, and those people do have access to advanced technology and weapons and things where they could begin targeting people. And I know people who are within the activist community who are extremely hyper vigilant. From my perspective, like overly so.
yeah.
Um, like they're not present on social media. They don't use their face for anything. They don't use real names for anything. Everybody's on Signal, like deleting, disappearing messages, all of that stuff. And it feels a little weird to me, but I'm also like, I think we're practicing for something. I think we
Yeah.
actually do need to be like being careful and turning off our phones when we go to actions, even though they're still on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
um, like I kind of just wasn't aware, and you probably know this. I'm like out there. Like I have
Mhm.
YouTube channels, I have TikTok, I have everybody knows who I am. I'm
Yeah.
like a walking target, and I don't want to endanger anybody that I'm associated with. So I have
Mhm.
started rethinking that and thinking like maybe I should disappear. Maybe I should,
Mhm.
like not be out there. But at the same time, how do you get the word out? How do you let people know if you're not out there? It feels like at a certain point we are going to have to think about safety
Sure. Mhm.
if we continue down this path. But right now, it doesn't feel like we're too small to really threaten them. They're like, yeah, these are a bunch of kooks. Nobody's going to listen to them. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. No, good. Good. No, no, thank you for articulating that. And yes, that's and thank you, thank you for pointing that out. And I think that's again that's just an expression of your courageousness and your bravery too. So, to be able to articulate that. So do you feel like your safety or anyone else's safety might be compromised by working with other organizations or whatever organization that you feel the most passionate about working with? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Becky. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm the same. Yeah. I would say I'm not sure yet because I get a very yeah. I've had an opportunity to work with a bunch of different organizations that I feel are kind of keeping me at arm's length. So yeah. So I'm not sure. Without the conversation, I don't know. Do you feel like your safety or anyone else's safety would be compromised about the explicit details about economic reform, how to make economic reform happen? Do you feel like your safety would be compromised? Thank you. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm not on the fence about that because, like I said, I've never been, in a position where I was considered a threat, like you were saying, Ray. But if the thing kind of gets circulating, I don't know yet. I don't know yet. Okay. Next conversation. Do you trust yourself enough to be transparent? Okay. Let me reframe the question this way. Do you feel like you can be transparent about your experiences within this cluster or within this group that we've had so far? Okay. Thank you.
I'd missed like two words, so I'm
Yeah.
not.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. With regard to your experiences with this cluster, with this process, yeah, and Becky, you've been through it twice now. Do you feel like you know enough about it to be transparent about
Enough about the process
it? Yeah.
of what
Mhm.
we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure, transparent. I don't always know exactly how to explain it to people though.
Right. Hmm. Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
you kind of have to just experience it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. All right. Do you feel that you can be transparent about time banking? Mhm. Okay. Do you feel you can be transparent with other organizations that you might want to work with or who might appreciate what we're doing? Mhm. Thank you. Yeah. I'm a low 3 on that. So or I'm a low yes on that. Okay, great. All right. And finally, do you feel like oh, wait a minute. So that's that.
Michael,
Yeah.
do you mind saying why on that last one?
Yeah. Yeah. Why I'm a low 3 on that.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Because just with the organizations that I've worked with so far, I was just telling Becky this earlier. I've been with a time banking organization for about 5 years now. I was, on their board as, up until about a couple of weeks ago. And for instance, I'm very passionate about time banking. I'm very interested in working with other time banks. And it's like the moment I turned in my resignation, they canceled my account and they didn't even make an attempt to keep my account active. And so even with people that I thought were allies and were strong allies, they were in a hurry to kick me out. So so it's kind of made me very it left a bad taste in my mouth. I don't know if I want to work with organizations after that happened with a group that I thought there was at least an alignment as far as the time banking concept. Now I have a positive experience now because I'm up for the presidency of Circle of Miracles, and I've been in the kind of in the thick of their conflicts and their kind of their drama, and which is part of the reason why I'm a little sad that Michelle is not with us because she was the president who resigned, and I want to have more communication in with her, but I don't think she wants to have anything to do with Circle of Miracles right now. So it's kind of like once you get organizations involved, it's kind of like it gets political and it gets murky. So I'm willing to work within organizations, but I'm also very I'm also very aware about how when you have official roles or positions, that it really gets muddy and gets murky and people refrain from the conversation. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that. And I don't want to get too much in the weeds here, but I'm surprised that there's not some type of like I don't want to say policy, but like agreement in place within organizations like that about what happens to somebody's time bank
Mhm.
if they leave for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Because if we're trying to replace money with time, essentially economically, like that's like stealing from you.
Yeah.
Like you, what happens to all the time that you put in?
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's an ethical conversation that a lot of people at the top of even the international time banking world, they're having a difficult time having that conversation where they see eye to eye on that. Because people's value is very much politicized. I don't think it's political, but it's very much politicized, and it's very hard to have an honest conversation around that. So yeah, yeah. So and even this conversation, I'm hoping to share this with the Time Banking Network, both the timebanks.org and the Our World Network, where I would like to invite them to view our process and how we've kind of come into relationship with each other to create this new way of time banking. So I'm hoping that even this conversation will be part of that conversation that's happening kind of on the meta level when it comes to time banking, where where there are international interests and there are, you know, it's still very much a centralized leadership structure where I'm trying to help them understand that something like time banking really needs a decentralized leadership structure and how to create best practices around that.